Hello, my beautiful friends. I moved my camera so that the window isn't behind me. So hopefully you can see me better. But now you get to see my sink. So hello, welcome back, or welcome to my channel. And today I want to talk to you about signs from spirit. So if you follow along in the playbook, you know that I'm always struggling with seeing signs because I sometimes think I make it up in my head, and I'm sure some of you do too. And you think that isn't really a sign. And, but I've been watching different videos and, trying to, get my arms wrapped around how do we see signs, what are real signs, what's evidence. I want evidential signs. So the past few days, I've been thinking about my brother Timmy. My brother Timmy drowned when he was 8, and that was before I was born. So just a little history in case you've not heard the story. So my brother hit his head right here on a sliding board because he was going down the wrong way, fooling around like a kid. They told the lifeguard didn't believe him, the kids, and he drowned at a church picnic at a public pool. So that was before I was born. So I never knew Timmy in this physical world. But over the course of my lifetime, I feel like I have known Timmy, and I have always been the carrier of his memory. So I don't know, and I've been watching all these NDEs and all these, Ghost Inside My Child videos, right? I don't know if in the spirit world, like he sent me back out here, to be a lesson to my mother or whatever. I don't know if he came with me in part, but I didn't know about him. My parents didn't tell me about Timmy until I was about 12 years old. So when I was about 4 years old, and I know I was about 4 because I was in kindergarten and I missed school for this, I was electrocuted. My mom had gotten a box of chocolates from somebody, and back in the olden days, Padawan, the outlets were 2-prong, and they were like little square brown things, and I thought that was candy that had fallen on the floor, and I went to eat it, and I was electrocuted. My father came in, or my brother came in, I'm not sure who, as my body was arcing, and I was rushed to the emergency room. So I have a scar that goes from here all the way up on the inside, and they did facial reconstruction. And shortly after that, I started talking in my closet. I would sit in my closet and I would talk to what I swear was a blue stuffed dog. And it was a brilliant blue, like nothing else I've ever seen is this color. Nothing else I ever had was this color. And it wasn't like a stuffed animal. It was more like a pillow, but it was blue. And I would talk to it all the time. And then one day, it just went away. It just went away, and I swore my brother Paul had thrown it out, and he had done stuff like that when I was a kid. Like my favorite Raggedy Ann cup, he took to the trash man, like he would do stuff like that. So I insisted that he had thrown it out, and I was unconsolable. I would not stop crying. Now I cried a lot as a little kid, so that isn't totally unusual. But I insisted that they threw out my dog, and everybody swore that they didn't touch my dog because there was no dog. And I thought they were lying to me because I was convinced there was this dog. So I don't know if maybe when I was electrocuted and passed over and came back, if this blue dog was something I saw that they never saw. I'm thinking now that might be what had happened. And we would talk about it years later. I'd be like, well, all right, now we're in our 40s. What happened to my dog? And my mother swore on her deathbed there was no dog. You never had a blue dog. You never had this blue stuffed dog. So, but I remember this, and I remember being a kid in my closet talking to the dog, and then one day it disappearing and crying for like 3 days straight about this dog. And everybody thought I was loopy, but I had been electrocuted, so, whatever. So over the years, I've often thought about my brother, and what's interesting is that I didn't find out about my brother till I was about 12, but when I was young, when I was 9, I was such a good swimmer that I was a junior Red Cross swim instructor because I was so passionate as a little kid about teaching other people how to swim so they would know how. And I was on the swim team, and then I became a diver in high school, and I was always in water. I loved being in water. I loved to swim, loved to swim. And my mother never came to my swim meets, but she also didn't go to my brother's basketball games, and she drank a lot back then. So, I just never, thought about, like, why don't my parents come? It's not like today where your parents go to everything. I just never thought about it. And then when I was 12, they had told me, because we had gone to the graveyard put flowers on my grandmother's grave, or something happened. So for whatever reason, we're at the graveyard, and they told me that I had a brother named Timmy, and then he had drowned. And so then I would walk to the graveyard, and I would just sit and talk to him. I mean, I didn't know him in this world. My brother Paul was a year old, I think, when he died. My older brother Mike, is the only one who really would have a memory of him. So, but I always just felt very connected, like I was such a swimmer and a diver. I mean, can you imagine my mother's fear? I'm jumping off of high dives, off of the platform. And she never, ever once watched me dive. And back then it was before cell phones. She never, ever came to a diving meet, ever. I think my dad maybe came to one. And I coached diving and stuff, but I was a strict lifeguard. I was a lifeguard for 8 years. I was very strict as a lifeguard, because I didn't want any other family to go through, what my family went through. So anyway, so recently I've been thinking about my brother and watching these NDEs and the purpose that we have in life. I'm like, well, what might have, and one of the things that I watched was about how sometimes you come into this world not to learn lessons yourself, but to be a lesson for somebody else. And I thought, oh, that must have been what Timmy was here for. Because what at 8 have you learned that you can go like to pay attention at the pool? Like what would that be? And I was just thinking about it, and then I watched this other video of this woman named June, who's fantastic teacher for mediumship. And she talked about how often we ask for signs when we're in deep grief or deep missing of the person that's gone. So what happens is that creates static, and then the signals can't be heard. So if you want to connect with spirit on the other side, you have to clear that channel so that your window is open and you can receive it. So I was like, I don't know why I was thinking about my brother. I kind of know why. My son and I were watching a movie about horrible things that happened in Cambodia in the 1980s. And I was just like, how can we be light in this world when all of that evil is going on? Like, how can my tiny light combat such evil? And, what's the purpose of this poor boy living to die? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to talk to Timmy. Because and there's other stuff, over the years, I've been carrying around this box of stuff that belonged to him. I think I've opened it twice in 52 years. But I carry this, and I every time I move, I think, I should get rid of it. Obviously, he's not coming back for it. My oldest brother, Mike, doesn't want it. Paul doesn't want it. Why am I carrying this around? But I'm like, I've always just felt that there should be somebody who remembered that this boy lived, and my parents are gone now. There should be somebody who keeps his memory. And if it has to be me, then it'll be me. So anyway, last night, I'm talking to him. I'm like, Timmy, I need to know if that was you in that closet. Were you the blue dog? And did anybody else see this dog? Was it just me? And where did you go? Why did you leave me? If you were with me, why did you leave me? And, what should I do with this box? And, how's my oldest brother disowned us, so I haven't talked to him since my mother died. He had disowned us before that, came back a little bit before she passed, and then I haven't seen him since. So, how's Mike doing, right? So I go into meditation, and I say, I need a concrete sign from you. I need to see a blue dog. You need to show me a blue dog. If this is you, and this is all true, and this you were with me in that closet, I need you to show me a blue dog. Not like Blue's Clues blue dog, but I need something. I need something. Blue or purple. It was like a bluish purple. I need to see this dog. So, I go to bed. I don't sleep well. I have a hard time falling asleep, and I always get pain right back here in my head. And it's sort of vibrating, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I had hit my head the other day. I fell off a chair trying to put a sandal on. Don't get old. It sucks. And so I'm like, oh, am I having an aneurysm? Is something going wrong? But it started vibrating, and I'm like, what the hell? So I come out and I sit down and I watch videos, and I find this video, and it's a reading before bed, and it's a tarot card reading, and it's a person I don't follow. It just came up in my feed, and I'm not a tarot reader that I've ever followed, and the cards, didn't have anything on them that would draw me to them. But I'm like, I'm going to watch this because I need to fall asleep. I need something to get me to fall asleep. And honest to Pete, I'm going to put it up here if I can. I don't know if I can with the software, but the card was a purple and blue dog. Bear. It was a bear, a purple dog, bear, with kind of mooning, mooning the camera, I guess. And because when I had said to Timmy, I'm like, I need a dog, I need a bear, I need something, some stuff, blue thing, you need to send me something. And there it was in this reading from a person I don't follow, in a thing that said, you have to watch this before you go to bed. And there it was. There was this card from my brother. and it was labeled the Hermit. It was the Hermit. It was the only card from that deck that she had used in that reading, from like the artwork, right? It was the only one. And there it is, blues and purples in this like color that I've never been able to replicate. There it was. And so I'm convinced that that was Timmy, and that this pain that I get is just a note, a reminder that he's with me. And I feel it right now, actually. It's giving me the chills. But that he's been with me my whole life. And and then I thought about it, and I thought, well, that makes sense, because he died before I was born, before I came into this physical world. So we spent time together on the other side. And maybe part of him did come back with me. Maybe part of him came back with me when I was electrocuted, to help me get back into the rhythm of my life. And when I asked him, why did you leave me? He said, well, I had to let you grow up. I had to let you, become a little girl and grow up. And I said, what should I do with the box? He said, you don't need to keep the box, right? Thank you for keeping my memory, but I wasn't here to learn lessons. I was here to teach Mom a lesson. And I said, well, I don't think she learned it, because I electrocuted myself, and that would have been 2 tragic children's deaths. And he's like, no, she didn't learn it right away, but she did learn it over time. And I asked him about my oldest brother, Mike, and he said he's fine. He does think about him. He does remember him. And he feels guilty, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't feel guilty about his death, because it was his time to go, and he was there to teach. He was part of a lesson. So it's encouraging to know my brother's here with me, and that he's been here with me, and that memory I have. There was no blue dog, by the way. That was something only I could see, according to him. So I apologize to my family, because I for years have thought that they've been lying to me for 40 some years. I've been thinking they've been lying their pants off. I've been like, why would you lie to me now? But they swore there was no dog, and apparently there wasn't. Only I could see it. So if you want to ask spirit, if you want to ask something of somebody on the other side, first clear your channel, right? Make sure you get emotion out of it, so that you can hear clearly, so that the window can open and things can pass back and forth. And ask a very specific question. And don't make it so hard that spirit can't do it, because then after I thought about it, I thought, well, how is he going to show me a blue dog? It's going to have to be Blue's Clues dog, right? Like, how is he going to show me a blue bear? Like, how am I going to see that? Where am I going to see that? In the life I lead, where am I going to see something like that? And then give it time, right? Because if you're asking, like, I want to see a cardinal, well, then a cardinal has to be found and brought to you. Like, it does take time, and it's not instantaneous, but keep an eye out for the symbol and the sign that you've asked for. But be very specific about what you're asking for, and then evidence will come through. So that's the message I wanted to share with you today. I am wishing you all the very best in light and love, and just know that your loved ones are with you. They are with you. They are with you right now. And they're on your side. Your spirit guides, they're here with you, and they're walking this walk with you, and they're here to support you, and they want to connect with you, and they need tangible ways to do that. So we can ask and then listen. That's the hardest part for me. I'm impatient, so I want instant answers. But Timmy has definitely come through to me, and also given me reassurance that he has been with me for these past 52 years. I'm wishing you all the best in light and love. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.